should ever enter where we are going. Beware what lurks in the depths of the libtard zone.
Number 10.
We now have a Republican Party that isn't a political party anymore, but it was a cult. I left it in 2018 because it seemed like a cult then, and it was nothing compared to what it is today. And, you know, a party where, you know, they want to determine the outcome of media transactions. They want to control 10% of intel. The government is just taking people off the streets without due process. I mean, it is just so beyond anything that could it's not even conservative anymore. The conservatives today are really the Democrats who are trying to conserve the institutions of our republic.
Oh, no wonder he got divorced. That's George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's former husband, who said that the Democrats are the conservatives. That's how bad it is. You accuse us of being in a cult while you're actually joining the cult. Because, you know, you Kool-Aid drinkers, although we may be Trump supporters, we know lopping off our junk isn't an option. We know that the border should be closed. We know that fraud is bad. In order to ignore all that, you have to be in a cult. In order for people's complete value system to be turned upside down, that's being in a cult. Any movie you've ever seen about a cult, they all just get into lockstep and they all think exactly the same way, and they will completely dissolve relationships they had before they got into the cult, and they will ignore their own personal lifestyles and values. You're going to shave your head when you never shaved your head before. You're going to lop off your junk. You're going to do all kinds of crazy stuff to join this cult. And then you're going to turn around and tell everybody else, you're the ones in a cult. We didn't change. How are we the ones in a cult where we didn't change? We're patriots. We love America. We support President Trump. But guess what? If it wasn't Trump and somebody else was out there carrying the flag, we'd be behind them instead of the guys over here who want to just participate in fraud, let all the newcomers in, and do all the other crazy stuff, Transformer stuff. That's a cult. Changing people's intrinsic values and telling them everything you've believed in is a lie is a cult. Yes, we love our Jesus, we love our guns, we love the Bible. We didn't change. Those people changed. Those are the ones who joined the cult. And the problem is they can't even see that that's them. The fact that you call Democrats conservatives means somebody needs to come over and slap the crap out of you and tell you to wake up. That's how bad it is with these people. When I see people like S.E. Cupp and George Conway and now Alex and it, they're like, you people joined the cult. We didn't change. We're still here. We even may get upset with something that Trump does. We may not like something Trump does. But we, even in disagreement, we still want to see America succeed and prosper. Y'all don't. You want to tear down everything. Every Saturday when it's weather's nice, you guys have a protest somewhere and everybody's out there running the street. When's the last time you see a conservative protest? Don't see it. You might see it. You keep effing around, you might.
Number 9.
For years, since I got into Congress, I have been saying that we need to pass what we passed in the House, the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. We needed to get big money out of politics. We needed to reform the Supreme Court so it actually...
One word, and you can put the first name, either one, Soros. So when you say you want to get the big money out of politics, you first. I can point you to some of them. What's the dude from LinkedIn? Reid Hoffman. Get the money out of politics. The Chinese dude, Neville Singer, I believe, whatever his name is. Him. How about those people? You go first if that's what you truly believe. And then also, now you want to destroy the court.
Represents the people of the United States. Now, all of these things are blocked by the Jim Crow legacy filibuster in the Senate that refuses to allow the majority of the will of the people to come through in any of these things.
That's what I hate. When they get on these shows and the people let them talk and they just nod along. Do you not realize how bat poop crazy she sounds? Oh. Wait a minute, I got to put my big glasses on first.
And so the Supreme Court has been, the highest court in the land, the only court with no ethics, no transparency at all. And they have continually been doing whatever they can to turn back the clock. And so if we don't understand the consequences of that, and to our previous conversation, if we keep going back to say, well, we keep the filibuster in place because it allows us to be, thoughtful in our deliberations in the Senate, we are missing the fact that 40 mostly white men who represent 12% of the country's population in the United States Senate can block us from actually reinstituting voting rights, reforming the Supreme Court, and doing all of the things that are required for us to uphold our democracy.
Okay, so let me just explain to her, since she doesn't understand, and neither does the chick with the big glasses. The Supreme Court's not there to do your bidding. The Supreme Court is guided by their interpretation of this thing called the Constitution. That's their only job. Not to side with the left, not to side with the right, but to look at this box, this paper, this document that was, you keep saying you want to go, the Supreme Court just wants to keep going back. Well, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but that's their job. Their job is to basically look at things from the perspective of this document that is a couple hundred years old. Of course they're going to go back. When they're talking, they're telling you what they feel. They feel we shouldn't be listening to that document anymore. It's an old piece of paper. It's grayed out. We don't need that. We need to do new things. Because that's what she just said. They keep trying to take us back. Thank God they keep trying to take us back. That's their one job. They mess it up sometimes, I think. But their one job is, does what's happening conform by the letter of this document? If it doesn't, then it can't happen. That's what Democrats don't want. They don't want the Constitution to be the governing document of the country.
Number 8.
And if our Republican colleagues want to talk about who and what is making Americans less safe today, it's this White House and its chaos and its reckless mass deportation agenda.
What are they deporting, honey? Who's getting deported? People who aren't supposed to be here. So as you're saying this paradox of a statement that it's the government who's creating chaos, they wouldn't have to be enforcing the law if you idiots didn't let these people in. It's really that simple. They're not supposed to be in your front yard. They're not supposed to be in your garage. They're not supposed to be in your living room. If that would to happen to you, you would call the police and tell them, can you remove these people from my house? So we're calling the government and saying, get rid of these people. They're not supposed to be in my house. For some reason, Democrats just don't understand that. And they think it's chaos when, no, it's not chaos. Chaos is when they were storming the border and you did nothing.
Families and communities are being torn apart. Citizens have been ripped from their homes with no warrants in cases of mistaken identity. Federal agents have shot and killed Americans in our streets for daring to question their unlawful tactics.
She's referring to the new Saint Rene Good and the other guy, and all they were doing was trying to question the tactics. They were good people. She didn't try to run the guy over with the car. No, that didn't happen. She was trying to question him. Go to the videotape, lady. She wasn't trying to question anybody. Quit gaslighting people. Either that or you're just retarded.
The House has prioritized meeting deportation quotas, and in doing so has targeted all immigrants, including those who have followed our rules and who, until this administration changed the rules, those folks were in our country legally.
Number.
Until Trump changed the rules. Well, it's pretty simple. It's quite dry. Can you imagine what these people are going to do if somehow birthright citizenship gets, but I don't think that'll happen, but oh boy, would that be crazy.
7.
Republicans have concluded that they need to cheat to win. That's what they're celebrating? Is that what you're elevating right now? The notion that 4 unelected judges would overturn the votes of more than 3 million citizens in Virginia? Is this what Republicans are celebrating right now? Because the people in Virginia right now are outraged, they're angry, and they're determined to send a message in November. We are in an era of maximum warfare. Everywhere, all the time.
You got it? You got what you asked for. You're not liking it much. Wow, we are loving it. So if you want to keep threatening people, here he comes again. More threats. If you're going to take action, go ahead. We'll wait.
Regardless of what ultimately happens before the Supreme Court of the United States of America, where that reckless decision by the Virginia Supreme Court is now on appeal. And so Susan DelBene said earlier today, we're going to win back control of the House. And the big fight will be what happens in between 2026 and 2028. Because we know this unprecedented assault on black political representation, the likes of which we have not seen since the Jim Crow era.
Wait a minute, I thought you were just talking about the redistricting from Virginia, and now you're talking about racial stuff and it's Jim Crow. But throughout this entire thing, you're telling everybody you're going to win. That's not how winners act. Said that many times. If you were going to win and you thought you were going to win regardless, why would you care? That decision is not going to be overturned by the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, any day, any minute, is going to tell you, no, we're not even looking at it. It's over. You're spending too much time trying to relitigate something that will not be relitigated. It's done. So if that bothers you so much, if you think it's Jim Crow, if you think that 4 unelected judges overturned the vote of 3 million people, maybe you might want to get with it and do something so you can try to energize your vote. Because if you think you're going to win, you wouldn't be saying all of this.
The ghost of the Confederacy has afflicted the United States Supreme Court majority.
Hey, bro, I just want to let you know who was the Confederacy, who was really the guys in hoods. Guess what? They were Democrats. So I can't believe he said the ghost of the Confederacy. I would have loved to have a little graphic where the General E. Lee car and the Dukes of Hazzard just rolled across the bottom of the screen.
And is invading and haunting the nation right now, and we take that seriously. And we know it's going to continue, which is why Democrats are committed to launching a decisive and overwhelming response in advance of the 2028 election to ensure that it's the American people who are the ones who get to decide who's in the majority in the House, who's in the majority in the Senate, and ultimately in 2028, who gets elected as the next president of the United States of America.
Number.
Clue us in. How? What is it you're going to do? We'd love to hear another one of your things. Oh my gosh, these people, like This is getting ready to be a feature because they keep saying stupid stuff every single day, hoping nobody looks.
6,
You know, a lot of these red states, they're not red, they're oppressed.
Yep.
I've driven across the country many times, and I'll drive through really rural areas, and I see the level of neglect.
A, who thinks this woman has driven across the country many, many times? B, who thinks she's driven into some of these cities with different levels of neglect? Hey, honey, or whoever you're driving with, let's take a right turn here and let's go through, I don't know, Tallahassee or Ocala. You're full of crap. You haven't been off of 95 in your life. You haven't gone off of I-10 in your life. Liar.
And I'm like, yeah, I'd be pissed off at paying taxes too.
Right.
I live in New York City. Sure, we have a high tax rate or a higher tax rate, but you know, when it snows out, I get to look out my window and I get to see well-paid sanitation workers.
Oh, no. Oh, help me. Ooh, that's a privilege. I get to see high-paid sanitation workers. I just want to let you know, I live in Boca, and every Monday and Thursday, the trucks come by, and I'm looking at guys who are happy and smiling. And is that supposed to be some kind of different privilege? You get to see garbage men? I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure in the chat, have y'all seen garbage men? Yeah, I mean, do you have the privilege of taking your garbage cans out to the side of the road and putting them out there, and then the guys come by and they dump your stuff and they wave and they put your Oh man, I didn't know we were to that point where it's a selling point where you live. You know, I live someplace where I get to see garbage people every single day or whatever.
Clearing that stuff out in a minute.
Yep.
I get to see public school workers or public school teachers like really doing amazing stuff for our kids.
Where? Because I just showed a video yesterday where people in high school couldn't read. I have a daughter who was a teacher, and she tells me all the crazy stories. Where are you visiting all these public works? I mean, public teachers. I mean, like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I get to walk out of my house and take the subway, which is publicly funded, and I say,
I get to walk out of my house, walk down the street, go down another flight of stairs, and get on a stinky ass, smelly subway where there's people and rats and everything else, but it's publicly funded. You know what I get to do? I get to go and click the button on my key so my car starts and gets cool before I even get in there. And I go, oh, look, bleep, it starts up. And then I get to let the garage go up. And then I get to go in my car and go wherever I want. It's Barry funded.
yeah, this is worth it.
That's
being
right.
in a community and being together and doing this stuff for all of us is worth it. And I don't want to live in a very individualized and isolated existence. But I see places that are neglected, and I'm like, yeah, I totally get the anger.
Yep.
Number
The funny part about watching her is she thinks she's saying something smart. And then the other lady must be as dumb as she is. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I wouldn't like to live in a gated community. It would suck. I mean, I get to go in and the gate opens up and I drive into this place where I feel so isolated. You mean like nobody else is going to come in? You mean like you go back and you can leave your door open?
Number 5.
The idea that we're in the middle of so many different confrontations.
Yeah.
And we have people, I have no faith. I have no faith in Kash Patel. I have no faith in Pete Hegseth. I have no faith in the people who are running anything. I don't believe in anybody who is running this country right now.
Right.
And
So let's dial it back a year or so and tell me you had, I don't know, faith in Biden, Kamala, Mayorkas. You want it, Raggedy Ann, the press conference lady? Come on. Come on. Your audience is made up of a bunch of crazy people with lobotomies. Oh, maybe you had faith in the guy who was stealing people's dresses and luggage and putting them on, and the other people with the finger, or maybe the guy who was getting butt rubbed in Congress. You remember that video? Is that the people you had faith in?
that's what makes me nervous. It's like, okay, well, who's going to take responsibility? The CDC right now. No one is running the CDC. We have this potential virus, and they keep saying, no, there's nothing to worry about. It's like, I don't want to hear that from you because you don't know if there's nothing to worry about.
Let me just tell you, Whoopi, if you choose to, you can go get stuck in your arm as many times as you feel. You can put on an entire face mask like you're playing for the Chicago Bears. I don't care. We're never doing it again. Well, then again, I never did it to begin with. Why? Because I live in Florida. And we didn't have to do it. You tried to get people fired. You wouldn't let people go to church. You wouldn't let people go to the gym. You let them go to the liquor store. That was interesting. And we had to learn that you could get on a plane, but you had to keep your mask on unless you were eating, because this thing understood that you were having potato chips, and now you're not having potato chips. Oh, now you're having pretzels. Now you're not having pretzels. You can go through all that all over again. I don't care.
Especially now that we're not involved with the World Health.
Well, we don't. I mean, it just we don't.
We're not involved with the World Health Organization. I don't need the World Health Organization. This is a propaganda show for sure.
We have been deballed as a nation, I feel, because we are
nationalist.
I thought my description was
Deballed is lovely.
Yes,
I just
it was
didn't know if you meant
clear.
castrated.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing.
Okay.
I don't have them, but I know it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But the idea that no one is in charge freaks me out.
Number 4.
You know what freaks me out? Freaks me out that you get paid probably millions of dollars to literally throw up on yourself every single day. That's what freaks me out. That there's somebody above you that says, let's keep Whoopi on this show and the other nut jobs on this show, and let's keep handing them checks, big checks, so that they can come out here and throw up all over our stage. Because there is nothing that you're saying of redemption there, and most of what you say isn't true, which is why Sonny keeps getting sued.
4.
Why would we replace the black outgoing?
I had to stop because y'all ever see the movie Mars Attacks? Yeah, you ever see the movie Mars Attacks? Or what was the dude back in the Flintstones? The Great Kazoo? Does she look like the Great Kazoo or what? The Great Kazoo, take me to your leader. Oh, man. Listen to what she has to say, though.
Mayor with a white person. That simple.
NAACP Charlotte Mecklenburg chapter president Corinne Mack refusing to walk back her comments in this Facebook post from Monday. Mack wrote that it is, quote, seriously disturbing for white folks to be lobbying to be Charlotte's interim mayor. City Council is currently searching for...
So this woman is mad because there might be a white interim mayor because the black current mayor is resigning because of her ineptitude, but the only quality the new person should have is they should be black. That's it. Should they have any experience? Should they be good? Should they be able to count anything? No. just that they need to be black.
Someone to serve out the remainder of Vi Lyles' term, who is set to resign at the end of June. In an interview with Queen City News on Wednesday, Mack argued recent rulings on voting rights and redistricting efforts are evidence of black representation being undermined and stripped, and that voters in Charlotte have been intentional about having black representation.
And my question to the white folks who are up in arms and outraged, are they outraged about the fact that black representation is under attack?
She said attack. Mars attack. Are you upset because black represent? I'm pretty sure there's some white people who live in Charlotte. Are you not? You think these people are so far gone? I'm telling you, I can do a section on this probably every day. It is this crazy, and I'm like, that's the qualification now. The whole Martin Luther King thing, throw it out the window. We don't want to be judged by the content of our character. We do want to be judged by the color of our skin. That's it.
Are they outraged about the gerrymandering that's happening all over this country?
Martin Luther King is rolling over in his grave thinking about, hearing something like what was said today in that post.
Abdul Ali, the vice chair for the 12th Congressional Republican Party, rejected Mack's argument, saying it's antithetical.
Uh-oh. There goes a neighborhood of black Republican. Wait, hold on a second. A black Republican named Abdul Shali. Oh boy, that's just a culture shock right there. A black Republican named Shabdul Ali. Oh my, was that his name really? Hold on, I gotta back that up. Did I miss this? Because wow.
Gerrymandering is happening all over this country.
Martin Luther King is rolling over in his grave thinking about, hearing something like what was said today in that post.
Abdul Ali, the vice chair for
Abdul. A black Republican named Abdul Ali is fighting against a woman who wants to have a mayor just because they're black. Man, these times they are changing.
12th Congressional Republican Party rejected Mack's argument, saying it's antithetical to the original mission of the NAACP.
I think it's ridiculous because we're not talking about black people not being able to vote. We're not talking about black people not being able to run for office. If that were the case in any law that came out, whether it was done by the Trump administration or Republicans in any state, I'd stand with her against that. But that's not what we're talking about.
The search for interim mayor, meanwhile, is still in its early stages, but council has said they want Lyles' replacement ready in time for her June 30th resignation. Former Mayor Jennifer Roberts has already expressed an interest in the position.
But she's white. Oh, man. Remember the other day I showed you a video where the guy said if somebody woke up in 1896 and came back, how surprised they would be. Can you imagine if you fell asleep in a coma, and I don't know, in 2010, and you woke up now and you hear the crap that people are saying? Well, they're not black. I'm sorry. I didn't know that was a box we needed to check. Wow.
Number 3.
I was born black. I'll be black all my life. I don't want to hear anybody say that the Republican Party has not gone out of its way to keep people who look like.
Now, see, that's where I just have to shut you up when you start talking fast. Your head's going to move it. That tells me you're already pissed off. You're already pissed off. I hope Scott slaps her down here because she's talking real fast. She's got to talk about it. And we're black. I've always been black. I'll be black tomorrow. I'll be black the next day. It's so tiring. You're tired. I'm tired watching you.
Be away from the ballot box because it's painfully untrue. It is something that has been charged in the courts time after time, decade after decade, particularly across the South where the largest concentration of black people live. So
it's so easy to destroy these people. It's like, can you slow down, honey, and just back up the crap coming out of your mouth? Nope, you can't. And then what happens, like I've told you, when you meet them with fact, all they can do is get angry.
We've seen those in Georgia. We've seen it in Texas. We've seen it. Well, those states are not led by Democrats, first and foremost. I let you talk. Would you please let me finish? Thank you very much.
I could never be on these shows. Please. Oh, I let you talk. Now I'll talk. No, you don't get to do that. You don't get to pull the angry black girl card. No, I ain't gonna do that. No.
Beyond that, we have to be very serious about the concentration and the erosion of civil rights across this country. And yes, that also proceeds with voting rights. The erosion of the Voting Rights Act has been done holistically by the Republican Party. What we've seen from Donald Trump is someone who wants to and continues to try to expand his power by the most illegal means. So yes, those orders.
Again, I'll just ask you, you're seeing it. Does that look like people were winning? Does the attitude of this head shaking woman with a giant ass wig, is her attitude a winning looking attitude, or somebody who's terrified of what's about to happen? Because when you look at Scott, he's sitting there smiling. I want my winners to look like Scott is looking. She on the other side is ready to scream, and Caitlin's like, I don't know what to do about these people. But Scott's calm, cool, collected, smiling. That's winning. Whatever she's doing, that ain't winning.
Challenges. Those orders were challenged in Venezuela because, quite frankly, there was no impetus to go there to begin with. What we do know is that more than likely, this was illegal. First and foremost, that's why he's trying to hide the videos.
Okay, so a couple things. Number one, has anyone ever personally tried to stop you from voting? Answer, no. Number two,
I vote in Illinois. I don't vote in the South.
I do. Anybody else vote in the South? Because they must have, again, I told you yesterday or a day before when I first came down south, my first spring break. Oh, you got to be careful down south. They do stuff differently down there. Oh, you don't even know what's happening down south. She just had to, I don't vote down south. I need to ask Robin. Robin, did we do something different? Like when I walked up to, vote or anything, do you see a lot of people looking around at me going, he's a blackie. Oh my goodness, what do they think? Who are they trying to put this on and try to pretend like, you know what? Down south, it's really different. And yet everybody down south is like, what are you talking about, lady? It ain't working.
Number three in this country, I hate to remind you of our history, but it was the Democratic Party that tried and tried and tried to suppress black votes in this country, not the Republican Party.
And I would love to remind you that when the Jim Crow laws were eroded, they were eroded by the Democratic Party, not by Republicans who tried to hoist them up and tried to continually re-enter Jim Crow in the modern era.
I think you need to reread your civil rights history. The Democratic Party doesn't have a clean record on this, but the bottom line is Democrats are going to continue to be ruthless. They're going to continue to try to gerrymander. They're going to continue to try to say the president's delivering illegal orders to mess up our military. Who knows what they'll do in Washington from here on out. But the bottom line is Republicans tonight didn't do this redistricting. Democrats are going to keep doing it. And if you're looking for who the most ruthless partisan players are, the Democratic Party.
Number 2.
Yeah. All right. So I got 2 left. It seems as though I said they had an old playbook. They had racism, they had fascism. Page 3 was Epstein. Now they're going back to another playbook. These people are so predictable, it isn't funny. Just watch. Well, you'll see.
Is Donald Trump's ballroom a national emergency?
You got to be kidding me. I mean, it's a vanity project. It's going to cost the American taxpayers over $1 billion at a time when people can't afford their health care, they can't afford their groceries, they can't afford fill up their gas tanks. I mean, Donald Trump lives in lifestyles of the rich and famous. And I wish we had some Republicans that would actually stand with us and actually fight for working people.
And what do you make of him calling for Obama's arrest now, 3 presidencies later?
I think he's seriously ill. I think Trump needs medical attention, and there needs to be an intervention. I mean,
An intervention. The man just sat down with the Chinese president, and they're hammering out a deal, and he thinks the president, Donald Jr. and Eric and Lara and Melania, need to do an intervention.
You know, his family or someone in his cabinet, you know, or I would say maybe some Republicans here, but they don't have the balls to, you know, confront him on anything. So he's not well.
How big of a factor is his cognitive decline now that he's in China?
Yeah, I mean, I'm worried for not only the country, but I'm worried about the world. I mean, don't forget, before he went, he was kind of talking about President Xi with awe and respect when he said that he rules China with an iron fist, as if somehow that was something he wanted for himself. So, right. Yeah, this is all very, very strange.
Got it. Thank you, Congressman. Appreciate
it. So now they're back to he's crazy. Okay, we got to get him out of office. Nothing else worked. We couldn't kill him. Now we got to go back to he's crazy.
My word, yes. Very kind of you. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry to ask the question this way. Are you concerned about the president's mental well-being?
Oh, 100%. I don't know how anyone can see what he...
Oh, by the way, these are all Democrat congresspeople. So that the word has gone out, and they're supposed to go ahead and, you know, get on camera, and you're supposed to just keep saying at this point that he's off his rocker. We need to get rid of him.
Or watch him in any meeting and think that he's fit for office. I'm absolutely concerned about it. And I know my Republican colleagues are too. They just won't say it out loud.
Is it the late night posts?
The late night posts, the fact that there is no filter anymore. The fact that he will call a member of the press bitch.
Okay, that really got to them. I don't know if I could make a highlight reel of all the things you called President Trump or us. I mean, you have called him literally every name in the book. You tried to, you know, say he was a, you know, rapist. You tried to everything. Fascist, Nazi, homophobic, everything. And so at this point, yeah, he's done with it. I'm happy he's done with these people. I don't care what you people say. You don't care what I say. I don't care what you say. Not crazy. I think that shows he's even more on top of his faculties.
The fact that he will call people piggy, the stupid, all of that stuff. This is not normal behavior, but we continue to normalize it by not calling it out for what it is. He's imbalanced. Absolutely. No question.
Congressman, got it. How big of a factor is his cognitive decline, given kind of like what we've been seeing, you know, in the lead up to this China trip?
I mean, Donald Trump is so unwell. The fact that the president of the United States spends every single night from the span of midnight to 3 to 4 a.m. on Truth Social creating AI slop, it's unbelievable.
Okay. I love that he does this because every single one of them, they think that he's sitting there at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, hitting a button, dropping bombs on Truth Social. Now, number one, you have no idea which ones he does and which ones the staff does. Number two, you have no idea, or maybe you do, I don't know. Do you know you can schedule a post? You know, you can like line up. Listen, I'm going to be on a plane all day. I want 10 posts to come out overnight. Bang, 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 bada, boom, to boom. And I can just make those things happen whenever I choose to. I don't have to be sitting there with a phone. Barron could be sitting next to me. Hey, Dad, watch this. And what difference does it make how many and when they come out? I didn't know there was some sort of decorum, some sort of a rule that says you can only tweet or post on Truth Social between the hours of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. That's it. What the hell does that have to do with anybody's cognitive ability? I post sometimes at midnight.
And I think that's why you're seeing more and more people call for the 25th Amendment and just recognize that he is unfit to be president, let alone any sort of leadership position in any capacity in this country.
Got it. Thank you, Congresswoman.
Number one.
All right. This one is number one. This one, if you haven't seen it, is going to just make your head spin. Besides the fact that the camera's way too close to her face and makes her nose look like that of a clown, you can hear now specifically, without a doubt, what the Democrat game plan is moving forward. It's sick. It's crazy. It may be downright evil.
Say, look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it. And in that no bad ideas brainstorm, we talk about what we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College. We talk about the idea of Supreme Court reform, which includes expanding the Supreme Court. We invite a conversation about multi-members districts. We talk about, look, that if we win the Senate, which we should and we will, then the Senate Judiciary Committee should have rules that they put in place so when these people come before as nominees to the Supreme Court and lie, that they are held to account and consequence, not just that somebody goes on cable.
Yeah, they're winning. I can tell right now by her demeanor, drunk or not, probably drunk, that they're winning. I can see it. I'm convinced that they're winning. These people have no chance of winning. They know they have no chance of winning. Hakeem Jeffrey said that we are going to be cheating. They're the ones who are telling us what they're going to cheat with. We're going to get rid of the Supreme Court. We're going to get rid of the Constitution. We're going to do all this stuff completely to destroy America. Why? Because we can't win otherwise. We can't play in the rules. Look how pissed off she is.
News and says they lied, but that there are rules in place to actually penalize people for lying to a Senate Judiciary Committee. That we agree that it is right to have ethics rules for Supreme Court justices. And let's put those in place. Let's talk about statehood for Puerto Rico and D.C. These
They want to pull out all the stops. We want to make Puerto Rico a state. We want to make D.C. a state. We want to change the Supreme Court. We want to get rid of the Constitution. Please put that in your campaign folder so that the rest of America can see how crazy you people are. This is nuts.
The things I think that we've got to do, we've got to neutralize these red states from cheating, including.
Did you notice the swallow there? Shit, you're going to neutralize.
Blue states expanding their maps. And all of this, I think, is
Spit it out.
We got to fight fire with fire. These folks are playing to win. We got to play to win.
These folks playing to win. We got to play to win too. Nobody can convince me that these people, there's no poll, there's nothing I'm going to read that is showing me these people have a chance of winning, because that's not how winners act. I've been around too many winners. I've been around too many losers. I understand people who win don't act like these people are acting. That's crazy. That's crazy, girl. You done.